Welcome back to another episode of Spilling Tequila. I'm your host, Ariana Cantor, and I have my hair in a bun. You might be like, what the fuck? You probably are like, what the fuck in most of my episodes if you're a repeat offender to listening to my podcast. But I have my hair in a bun. My hair has been so short and I've not been able to put it in a bun. Look how cute if you're watching. If you're not watching, just know it looks really cute. My hair is in a slick back bun and I cannot tell you how much I've missed this. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to cover there. Today, I wanted to talk about girls. I wanted to talk about the girlies. What I really want to talk about is the toxic dynamics and try to figure out where they're coming from, why they're happening, or at the bare minimum, bring awareness to it to help other people not feel alone and know that it's not okay. People should be treating people properly. Let's lead with that. I felt the need to discuss this for honestly the second episode on my podcast journey, because I have had a lot of shitty experiences with other females. And I know in today's girl culture, that could be frowned upon, or that could be twisted, and it could sound like I'm the problem. I'm sure I've been the problem at some of the times, but not every single time. And the one thing I can confidently say about myself is I have been insecure. I have been weak. I have been so many different things, but I have never been a mean girl. So when these mean girl things happen, it's like I have been the one they have motherfucking preyed on. But the more I've learned to talk about it and have been more open about it, the more others have talked about it with me, and I've realized I'm not alone. I really don't have a one answer of why girls treat other girls the way they do. I constantly am blaming myself for how I'm treated by girls, because it's easier to blame yourself sometimes, because if you blame yourself, you're like, oh, I can fix this. Or why would someone treat me this way if I wasn't doing something to cause it? Yeah. We're gonna and what made me want to talk about this today is this past year I've definitely had a hard time with females, friends, people that really didn't even make it to the friend level, and just females in general. And this isn't the first year I've had these issues with other females. I've had these issues with other females my entire life, since I can really remember. And I've created an episode about this before. That was just barely even touching the surface, because we're diving right the fuck back in. This is a topic I'm not going to let loose on. I don't want anyone to feel alone, and I also want it to stop as much as possible. I don't think I can change the entire world of how girls treat other girls, but maybe I can make a fucking difference. There are so many places that I know girls personally go to these places, and I would not step foot in them. There are so many girls that I know personally that I don't want to be in the same room with, because I know that there's no maturity. Like not everyone can be adults. It can't be, we grew apart from each other, we didn't get along, things happened, we move forward with our lives. It's like, no. There are girls that are ready to narrate their story, throw you in it as the bad guy, and make you feel like shit about yourself. That's wild. That's like, did I just say those sentences out loud? How can that be fucking true? How can people want their lives to be this way? I don't know, but it's true. Female competition is too popular. It is way too present in the world I live in, and it's stupid. Competing with other women isn't going to make you feel better. It's just going to make you feel like shit, and then you get stuck in this pattern of feeling like shit and making other people feel like shit. Again, I've been dealing with this my entire life, and I think I've gone through so many different levels of it. There have been girls I don't know that don't like me. those ones are easy. I'm like, you don't even know me. What's terrifying are the ones that are your friends. That's the scariest. When you find out that your friend secretly doesn't like you, it's like, what the fuck? It's honestly such a mean thing to do to someone, because you make someone question everything like they know in their lives and what they believe in, because that wasn't your experience. How could you be so wrong? Trigger warning that I'm going to share a lot of stories about female issues that I have experienced over the years. I'm going to go all the way back to high school. I'm going to talk about some more recent, and some of them are sad, but I live to tell the story. A time that I had drama with a girl that I did not know, never met before, was when I was in my sophomore or junior year of high school. It was Phillies home opener, baseball, Philadelphia Phillies home opener. And I went down to opening day for the game. It was something that growing up in Philadelphia, like you would do every year. You would skip school. It was so fun. I was tailgating the game, and I was playing flip cup with a big group of people. Some people I knew very well and some people I didn't. And there was a girl there that I did not know, and I was like in high school, drinking, fun, young and naive. I've been naive a lot of times in my life. Am I naive right now? Who the fuck knows? But naive is something I've definitely been. I was playing flip cup, and I looked at the table, and the table was guys and girls, and I said, running this table flip cup with my hoes. Like at this time, I don't know, in high school, I feel like everyone was always writing Facebook statuses like, with my whore, with my hoe. Like, not cute to call your friends whores and hoes, but like it was like just joking around. And this girl I did not know left the flip cup. Like, honestly, we all played the game of flip cup. So this girl I did not know, we finished the game of flip cup. I guess she started talking about me to someone else. They were both, her and this other girl were talking about me. And this girl told this other girl that I called everyone at this tailgate a whore, a hoe, and the list went on. So then her friend encouraged her to hit me because I was dumb. And maybe I was dumb for playing flip cup, running the table with my hose, but did I deserve to get punched for that? No. This girl came up to me and punched me in my nose. And I literally was like, at first I heard what was going on. I heard the conversation finally. And I was like, oh my God, I would not call girls that. Like, I would not say it in that context. Like, I was joking around playing flip cup, yada, yada, yada. And I'm trying to apologize to the girl. I start crying before I even get hit because I'm like, I don't want to fucking get hit. I've never been like a physical fighter. And this girl punches me in the nose. She broke my nose. And yeah. So that was a time I didn't even know a girl. And she started shit with me. Just because. What I feel from that story is I found out afterwards. I was 15, 16 years old. She was 21. A week later, she had all of her friends reaching out to me, begging not to press charges on her, which I didn't, but I did have to get surgery on my nose, which is so sad. Younger Ariana, it's okay. But now, looking back at that, she was an insecure girl who was 21 picking on a girl that was much younger, and it wasn't warranted or deserved. And she obviously didn't like herself afterwards and realized there was going to be consequences and had regret. In a scenario like that, its insecurities aren't healed and projected onto other females, and you're responsible for that. I have been insecure so many times in my life That does not mean I can go and be mean to another girl and punch another girl, especially a girl I don't know because I think she looks nice. That just isn't a thing. And I think it's very common on a larger scale that women project their insecurities on females. I hear talk of it all the time. If a group of girls meet a new girl and that girl's really pretty, more times than not, they're looking for something wrong with that girl before they actually even take a step to get to know who that girl is. That should not be our first instinct. Jealousy shows up in more ways than one with females. I think sometimes girls try to get super close with girls they're jealous of, and then in return, they eventually fuck them over. I think girls can be very mean about girls and talk and try to harm other girls' images because they are jealous and they think that's going to make them feel better. I've experienced so many different things. I think a perspective to really try to understand as a girl that is trying to be nice and make friends with other girls, but constantly feels like they're running into obstacles, is it says nothing about you the way a girl treats you. It says so much more about the girl, whether she's secure with herself and feels comfortable enough with herself to be nice to other people and not project her insecurities, or if she's dating someone, if she feels safe enough in her relationship to not take that out on another girl who she might think is pretty and might look at as a threat because she's not happy or she does not feel safe in her own relationship. It's so hard, for me at least, to flip that switch and understand that's what could be going on, but that's what makes the most sense. A girl who feels safe in her relationship or trusts her own self-worth isn't going to make you feel like shit about yourself. Maybe she doesn't want to be your friend, but she's not going to make you feel like shit about yourself. I think girls build fake stories in their head about other girls as a defense mechanism. There's not enough awareness brought to it. I think because of the girl culture, like I said before, people are so scared to talk about it. But it's a real thing. I am not getting hurt by guys left and right. Have I been hurt by guys? Yes. I'm not getting in relationships left and right. Girls, I love making new friends. I love friendship. I don't think there's anything wrong about that. The only thing that's wrong about it is that the only thing wrong about it is how girls can treat other girls, that I have gotten to a point in my life where I'm so scared to even entertain new girl friendships because of my track record. One of the pettiest things a girl has done to me, which honestly, again, was in high school, I was a junior in high school going to be a senior in high school, and I was dating a guy who was a senior going into college. And he was going into his senior week, and I was down at his senior week house with him because he was my boyfriend. And a girl that I had known since grade school, we went to the same grade school, I guess liked my boyfriend. And she made up a lie that I slept with someone else to get me kicked out of the senior week house to sleep with my boyfriend. That was pretty fucking petty. And obviously she saw me as competition for my own boyfriend and was jealous of my relationship, that she wanted to go as far as breaking it up and doing that. And I mean, look at where she's at in her life now, but that doesn't make it any better. That was really, really hurtful. And the fact that I've even made girlfriends after that is pretty impressive, that I haven't given up. I've definitely not given up. When I was younger, I was not confident. And I think it had a lot to do with things that I didn't heal within myself and how other girls treated me. It took me a very long time and a lot of work on myself to realize I can't let other people make me feel any type of way. And there's going to be people that don't like me just because I can walk into a room and be happy and nice and kind. And that's okay. They're not my people. Now, when I enter a room, I already assume that there could be girls that have issues with me without knowing me. And my demeanor is completely different. I don't give off too much. I don't have expectations, so I can't be let down if a girl is rude to me. And I'm never surprised. I'm never surprised at what comes out of it. That way I can just keep it moving. Because I had higher expectations for females, and I want to have higher expectations for females, that we can take ownership of our lives and not project ourselves onto other girls. Like, come the fuck on. And now I want to get more into the side of like your friends, like your girlfriends that are your good friends, where the relationship has gone south because of drama or because of things that weren't talked about. I think talking about your friend to another person consistently in a negative way with no hopes of ever speaking to your friend about what the issues you're discussing are is poison. I think that is poison to a friendship. It's okay to like have an issue with a friend and confide in someone you truly trust and just ask like, am I being sensitive? Is this warranted? And you talk to someone you trust and they tell you honestly what they think, and that can help you just, prepare to talk to your friend, maybe see things in a different light, maybe blame yourself in a way that, maybe take accountability in a way you weren't before, or maybe realize you were going through things and projecting it on someone else. Like, that's totally different. That's healthy. And then you talk to your friend that you have issues with, and hopefully your friend's mature enough where you can just resolve it, conflict resolution, and keep it moving. But if you're talking shit about your friend, you're the actual problem completely. Because one thing that may have pissed you off has now built into so many different stories and so many different narratives, and you have created your friend to be a punching bag. And because you are being too much of a little bitch, excuse my French, and won't talk about it to your actual friend, there's no conflict resolution. At this point, you don't even want conflict resolution. You have this whole image created of your friend that is horrible, and you deserve jail time. Honestly, I have had friends that I've talked bad about, and I was in my mind complaining about them, but I love them. They were my friend. And guess what? Those friendships don't exist anymore. That was more so in my early 20s. Now, I do not talk about my friends. I have my friends back. Why the fuck would they be my friend if I had bad things to say about them? But I also like to keep it real with my friends. The worst part about the friendship drama is with the storytelling is when your friends start to create so many lies about you just to like hold this image of you to their friends so that they feel better about themselves. Girls start to talk so much shit about their friend, and then they get positive reinforcement or validation from whoever they're talking about this to, and they start to get addicted to that. So then they start putting their friend down more and more to feel better about themselves, and it's disgusting, and it's a recipe for explosion, for a motherfucking volcano explosion. I've had this happen to me quite a few times, and every single time I have found out about it, I realized that I could have put the pieces together prior, and the person was telling on themselves to me. You know when a friend is starting to act weird towards you, and like when it feels off, and if a friend ever tells you that their friends are talking about you and don't like you, your response to that needs to be, and what are you responding to them when they talk shit on me? If you're in a room with someone and they talk bad about me, how did you respond to them? Because that's not normal. No one in my life is going to feel comfortable talking about my friends to me. And if they do, I'm going to shut that down. If someone is telling you people in their life are talking shit about you, or even they're around people that are talking shit about you, they're talking shit about you. I promise you. I found that out the hard way quite a few times. If they tell you a bunch of people don't like you, they don't like you. They're quite literally telling on themselves. I've had so many of these situations happen in my life, and I have to believe at this point it's to bring awareness to it, considering I have a podcast. I don't hear it talked about enough. I see it in so many different forms. I see it in online hate. I see it in close friendship betrayals. I see it in girls not knowing girls and starting fucking havoc. And the culture we're living in is talking so much about how guys are shit, and when they can be, I don't see enough people talking about how girls can be shitty. If that brings me hate, I don't care. I have enough stories and validation to know it's true, and I've talked to enough people to know that they have experienced it as well. It's like, when is enough going to be enough, and when are we going to shift the perspective to be like, you're an ugly human. The way you talk about girls, the way you talk about your friend, the way you hate on people online, you're an ugly human. That does not make you better than anyone else. I think the more we call a spade, the more difference we can make, instead of ignoring it and being like, oh, that's just how she is, or maybe she's right, or thinking that we're the problem. I would say to any girl listening right now that feels hatred or constantly betrayed for no reason, I would say stop blaming yourself. It's happening constantly because the universe is forcing you to learn a lesson. And that lesson probably is to trust yourself enough to be alone, and then surround yourself with better people that don't make you feel this way. They're not your people. There's no world where, like, I think one person is just such a problem that no one can tolerate them. I think that is what people have projected for bullying. I've experienced it so many times where it's like one person has to be the problem and everyone has to like team up together to be like, we all agree that this person is the fucking problem, when the problem is everybody that's teaming up together should be worried about themselves and not putting all of that energy and uniting together over one person. It's never that cool. It's never cool at all to do something like that. And if you were a good person, you wouldn't pay that person any mind if you thought they were a problem, or you would try to help them. Like, I just don't think I think that's glorified bullying, teaming up on someone. And can't we unite to actually make things better? Like, let's unite to make people treat people better, not blame people and say they're a problem. Worry about your own life. Healthy female friendships look like to me like they are a breeze. They are the easiest fucking thing. Honestly, sarcasm is big in them. Trust is number one. And if there's an issue, it's not blown out of proportion. It's talked about, discussed, opinions are given, everyone's heard, everyone's fucking feelings are heard, and we keep it moving, and we figure out how to enjoy life together more and make life better. Your relationship should not make your life harder. They should make your life better. Females can resolve conflicts better without backstabbing or being passive aggressive by simply talking about how you feel to the other person that's making you feel some type of way. If it's bothering you that much and if you're that close to the person. I've noticed that sometimes if you've talked about it to someone else so much, you can't even present it to the person that you're discussing because it is blown out of proportion and it has become so crazy with so many lies that it's just so ridiculous that you don't even feel comfortable speaking on it. And then you ruin a friendship, or you have to fucking live with the repercussions. Talk about things, do the hard thing, talk about things, and make it easier for the long run. I have had friendships that have fell apart, and it has been for so many different reasons. Some friendships, nothing bad has actually happened. We just were growing in different directions, and we couldn't recognize it at the time, and we needed space to come back together. And because no one did anything that was so unforgivable, we were able to mend things. And then I've had other friendships where I realized this person secretly hated me, and I don't know the last time they were even my friend, if they were my friend. And there's no coming back from that. That's just like, that's vicious and unforgivable. I now show up differently in my female friendships because what I've lived through, with so much respect, so much love, so much grace, just wanting the best for that person. I want no conflict. And if there is a conflict, I want to resolve it. If I truly care about that person and I feel like that person cares about me, and I don't want to do anything to damage a friendship or make a friendship difficult, because that's not what they're supposed to be. The younger version of me that constantly thought, what's wrong with me, hearing this episode would have maybe not got into as much drama as she did, and maybe learned how to be a little bit more confident a little bit sooner, and very surprised that it was coming from herself, because I definitely blamed myself so much, and I don't regret any of that because it has taught me the lessons I needed to. And I've tried a lot of times to put myself in the situation for being wrong. Sometimes I could be wrong, but there was never a reason for girls to just be mean to me, whether they were my friends or weren't my friends. That's not normal. Women can shift their energy from tearing each other down to building meaningful relationships together by simply healing themselves and trusting themselves and making themselves like themselves more. If someone can't like themselves, they can't like someone else. And I think that's something very important to like recognize and understand. A lot of the girls I've had falling outs with in my life are girls that did not like themselves. And when I look back, I'm like, oh, couldn't see it because I was too close to it. But now I really am just tired of seeing all the negativity of girls to girls. I don't think the guys sit there ever and think like, wow, that girl must be so shitty because what this girl says about her. I think they can see right through it, and they realize that, you know, you're just trying to put someone else down. So you're not really even hiding anything. You're not gaining from any of this. All you're doing is hurting someone else and hurting yourself. So girls, let's be fucking better. Let's cheer each other up, or let's just not bother each other. And let's want the best for ourselves, because that's really where it begins. And instead of being jealous of someone else, looking at someone as competition, just work on yourself a little bit more. Heal yourself a little bit more. Heal that part that thinks you're not enough, that someone else is better than you. Do the hard motherfucking work. Okay, this episode has come to an end now. I have said my piece. Please continue to reach out with all the questions, comments, and concerns. And I will be back. Same time, same place next week. I love ya. Mwah.